What up, guys? Just got back to the hotel and I was on the phone for an hour with my coach going over every single lift, every single attempt, building the next block of what I need to do well at Nationals, because Nationals is literally 12 weeks away from this moment. So we have a good amount of time to build some momentum and strength, but not a lot of time. And we can't have any wasted weeks or anything. So as soon as the meet was over, it's part of the game plan to do immediate review, go through everything, so then we can hit the ground running immediately, like on Monday, which is like the day after today. So we're gonna get right into it. All right, squat, first attempt. The warm-ups, it was like 400, 405. Didn't feel like too snappy, so I was a little bit worried. Going into this, I was like, ooh, good thing we chose a really good attempt, which is 429, AKA 430. It was something that I could hit even if I had pneumonia, which is really important when you're trying to pick your openers. Like, when can you hit? Anytime, any day. Also bury it so you're in the game, because you don't want to bomb out. So I unracked it, felt good, settle, and then braced, hit perfect depth, buried it, and I was like, when I racked it, I already knew I was gonna get 3 white lights. I was like, cool, we're in the game. We hit goal number 1, which is to qualify. But from there, we're like, what should we hit next? If we were going really good, I was supposed to go up to 457. Since it wasn't too poppy, we actually chose 451. I think I did a really good job of keeping the bar on my rear shoulders and over the midfoot. That's something I've been having trouble with all last block. And that would cause me to like have my hips shoot up, rock forward. I didn't do any of that. So I really like slowed things down, took my time during the warm-ups. So everything was textbook, both depth, not rocking forward, keeping the bar over my midfoot. So 430, 451, both moved really good. My third and final attempt was 463. Shout outs to Mike. He actually had more confidence than I did. I was like, oh, maybe I should just go 457, like just chip it a little bit. But he was like, nah, you got 463. I was like, yeah, even with 3 or 9 white lights? He goes, yep. Bam, depth is good. Everything was smooth. And that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see the form never change except for the speed. You don't want to throw weights on and all of a sudden hips shoot up and then you have this weird wobbly thing, because then it's really hard to troubleshoot what's going on. Is it a technique error? Is it too much weight? Is it a muscular weakness? Like right now, we can just tell form technique is locked in. It's just that the weight is getting heavier and heavier. So moving into the next block, we know to bump up the intensity or more volume or have more training days, and we don't have to focus on fixing technique. So this was textbook, this was perfect. My coach was super happy with all 3 lifts. Literally the day of the meet, which is just a few hours ago, I would send him in real time, and he was like, good, good, good. So squat, perfect. Everything went just the way we had planned. And this, I didn't fry myself. 463 was good. If I really needed to, like someone was like, I need you to hit 474 today, I think I could have done it with 3 white lights. So perfect RP, 8.5. Moving on to bench. We wanted something that extreme confidence. Once again, we're just trying to qualify first. So what can you hit with fucking leukemia? And we chose 297. This part was weird. I remember reviewing the footage right then and there where I'm like, okay, cool. Like the unrack was good, nice touch, blast, and then weird pause. Like we went like this, like what was going on? Not too sure, but one thing we made an immediate adjustment for the next block. Currently I'm running 2-second pause bench, close grip, and then comp bench. For the next block, we're just gonna do comp bench all 3. Like maybe my shoulder's healing really good now, and now it's time to really load up the weight. So let's really dial in that technique and not confuse the body with too many different forms and variations. And we only got 12 weeks. So that's one adjustment that we immediately made. We're gonna take out close grip and just have 3 comp bench grip days. 297, because it was wonky, I didn't want to jump straight to 314. So we took like a one like right below like plan A, we went with the plan B route. And by the way, that's something that I felt like my coach did a really good job of planning. We have first attempts, then we have plan A, B, C second attempts, and plan A, B, C third attempts for all lifts. So that way, Mike can, or my handler, day of can go, oh, that wasn't a plan A, that's plan B, instead of trying to calculating all the math, you know, like it's already like laid out. So shout outs to Kyle, he did a really good job. So because we had the weird wonkiness, not going with plan A, went with plan B, which is 308. One thing I am very happy about is my butt never came off. That was something that we were working on like crazy. But in training, looking at this footage, I need to pause way more, especially when I have the volume sets. I gotta pause every single rep, no touch and go, and even holding it at the top, because I can see how strict the competition standard is. I need to make sure I uphold that standard. But 308 was really good. And then finally, once again, Mike believed in me more than I believed myself. I was like, let's just take 311 or 314. He goes, nah, you got 319, it's just 10 pounds. So in my mind, I was like, you fucking little bitch, used to bench 390 in the gym, 380 in competition, you can't do this shit? I was like, but I got low T and I'm 40 years old now, man. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna accept that. So last one, really happy. We ended up getting 319. Let me see, did my butt come up at all? Oh shit. I stayed contacted with the bench. My butt wanted to though. Had my butt come up half more inch, than the lower part of my ass crack would have came up. Cause I could have sworn, I was like, dude, are these refs being lenient with me? And I indeed earned it, but I was like, you guys are the best. So 319, that was 9 for 9, 9 white lights, 18 white lights so far. So yeah, the big main bench adjustment for the next block is 3 comp benches. And also we realized coming in, bench didn't feel that poppy. So instead of having sets of 7 or 8 as the back off sets, we're bringing it down to sets of 4 and 6 so that we can bump up the intensity, so that we can have the back off sets kind of like, or back off sets kind of live in the high intensity world and kind of like marinate my body and expose it to the more high intensity and see if that'll pay off rather than the volume. Because a lot of it is just kind of like experimentation. You know, does your body respond to volume or does it respond to intensity? And different body parts actually respond differently. Like for me, squats, if I live in high intensity too long, it would actually crush me. Like if I'm doing 405 for like sets of 5 and 6 over and over and over, like I'll end up just frying my CNS, versus if I do lower weights, but like sets of 8, 9, 10, that actually transfer over. So we're just trying to figure that out with the coach, and I think we're dialing it in. Deadlift first attempt, this is where I was like, oh, I don't even know, but because you know, if you guys watch episode 8, I had a broken hand. I found out it wasn't actually broken, it was actually just broken ligaments. But in the warm-up, it was working, so I was like, thank God. But because of that, I didn't have too much volume leading up to it, so I was scared. 460 though was something I knew I was gonna blow out of the water. So I had 100% confidence going into my opener. Otherwise, we probably would have opened like 480 or 500, but we wanted to make sure that it's something that we could do any time of the day. I do gotta work on not yanking the bar. That's something that I really have to work on, because when you yank, you can pull yourself out of position and end up hitching, which is one of my biggest mistakes in the past. So I don't want to do that. So smoked 460. Next up was 500, 501, or whatever. I felt like I had a high confidence going into this too, because I was like, dude, this is something I hit millions of times. But not hitching is what's important. So I didn't want to rush it. So I was patient, make sure like I got my hips in a high position. Because that's one thing I realized from before is if I come up like too fast, and if I'm not patient with it, that's when my knees travel forward, and then I end up resting the barbell on my quads. So I got to make sure I'm locking, like I'm locking out my hips and my knees at the same time, so that the bar can go straight up, versus like locking out too soon. So once I got up to here, I was super excited. I was like, okay, cool. It's already 8 for 8. We are golden. And once again, Mike believed in me. I just wanted to chip it again, but he's like, no, you got 519. I was like, all right, Here's for all the marbles. So with with deadlift, it's a little bit harder to troubleshoot what we need to do next block. So that was decently smooth, no hitching or anything. Obviously I got a perfect meet. It was 27 white lights. But the thing that we changed is we took out all the variation movements and kept everything competition, because we realized that's what we just really need to ingrain. Like originally we had a competition deadlift and then like a RDL day, because when you have too much of the same thing, it's really easy for your body to get fatigued. One thing we learned from the last 14 weeks is my body can actually take a beating. And I actually came into this meet over recovered. So I tapered too much and we didn't go heavy enough. So that's what's really cool about all this data gathering is my body can actually take a beating. So we're gonna give it a beating for the next 12 weeks. I'm gonna have 2 competition deadlift days, no variation, but we are gonna reassess every 4 weeks at a time, so that if we do need to, then we'll switch it up to like dial it back. But so far, all the data we got from the last 11 to 14 weeks with this meet, we're like, we didn't give my body enough specificity, and that's what we're gonna give it. But yeah, overall, had an insanely good meet. 27 white lights, those are the main changes. Squat, I figured out that I need 2 low bar days instead of a low bar and a high bar. Bench, 3 competition specific days. Deadlift, 2 competition specific days. Bumping up the intensity on squats and bench, lowering the amount of reps, and deadlift, kind of keeping it the same and just having it competition specific. That's the game plan. I know it's a lot of fucking shit out there, but that's literally how powerlifting works. You know, it's like you create like this kind of like body of work, like a recipe, all the ingredients, and meat day is where you go, okay, I gotta add some salt, put some fucking bay leaves or whatever, and then the next whatever, you throw the ingredients in, and then you have another meat and you go, aha. Which is why they always say, you know, you gotta work with your coach for like 1 or 2 years before it really clicks, because that's what you're constantly doing, finding out what works for you, what works at meets, really pressure testing, because if you don't really do a meet, you're not really pressure testing, you know, to see if everything is paying off. And I think we got a good game plan. So see you guys in the next episode when we're back to training, back in the lab, and we're gonna fucking crush it the next 12 weeks. Thank you guys for following and supporting, and everyone that said what's up at the meet meant a lot to me, especially all of you guys that said what's up to me. Super cool. See you guys in the next barbell video. Peace.